Our country India is truly incredible. It can boast of being the cradle of one of the ancient civilizations of the world, that is the Indus Valley civilization. Again, this country is known not only for its natural resources and diverse physical features, but also for rich cultural heritage. Yes, India has rich cultural heritage. That is, over the years, people of different races and religions have made India their home. Also, in this country, one can find valleys, mountains, plains, and the great Indian desert. In 2002, the government of India has labeled this country as incredible in order to promote the beauty of India. Now let us look at the country of India in a world map. So here we have a map that shows the major continents of the world, and here we find that India belongs to the continent of Asia. See, here we can see that India is located in the continent of Asia, which is the largest continent of the world. Now let us draw the most important longitude and the most important latitude on this world map. Well, we know that the most important longitude is the prime meridian. So here is the prime meridian. Now let us draw the equator, that is the most important latitude. So this is the equator. So this is the prime meridian that divides the world into eastern and western hemispheres, and this is the equator that divides the world into northern and southern hemisphere. Now here we find that India lies in the northeastern part of the world. So as mentioned just now, India lies in the northeastern hemisphere or the northeastern part of the world. Now let us explore more about this country. Now if we zoom into the world map, then we shall find that the country India is roughly triangular in shape. Also, it is surrounded by water bodies on all three sides. In the west lies the Arabian Sea, in the east lies the Bay of Bengal, and to the south lies the Indian Ocean. So India is triangular in shape and it is surrounded by water bodies on all three sides. Thus, we can also say that the mainland India is a large peninsula. That is, it is triangular in shape and surrounded by water bodies on three sides. Now, apart from the main landmass, India also consists of two groups of islands, one in the Arabian Sea and another one in the Bay of Bengal. Now, can you name these islands? Well, the group of islands lying in the Arabian Sea is the Lakshadweep, and the group of islands lying in the Bay of Bengal are the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So here we find that the country India consists of a main landmass that is surrounded by water bodies on the three sides, that is Arabian Sea in the west, Bay of Bengal in the east and Indian Ocean to the south. And it also consists of two groups of islands, one in the Arabian Sea which is known as Lakshadweep and another one in the Bay of Bengal, that is the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now, India's location near the Indian Ocean is very strategic. This vast ocean connects India with the outside world. This is to say that this location has enabled India to establish trade relations with foreign countries of the world. Now, the main items that were exchanged between India and the rest of the world are timber, ivory, books, silk, coffee, etc. So these were the major items that were exchanged between India and the outside world in ancient times. Well, another major item of exports was the Indian spices. We know that the Indian spices are known for their rich flavor and aroma in the domestic as well as in the international markets. Now, these Indian spices were so much in demand that they were even valuable than gold at that time. So you can understand how precious these Indian spices are. So the rich color and the taste that we get in the Indian dishes comes from this secret, that is the Indian spices. And therefore India is rightly regarded as the spice bowl of the world. Now let us discuss about the boundaries of India. Now here we have a map of India and we find that it has a long land boundary. In fact, the total length of the land frontier is 15,200 kilometers. So the land boundary of India is indeed very large. Now here we can also find that it has a long coastline. Well, the total length of the mainland coastline of India is 6,100 kilometers. So this red line shows the land frontier of the country, which is 15,200 kilometers long, and this blue line demarcates or denotes the coastline of the mainland India. Now we know that apart from the mainland, India also consists of two groups of islands, that is Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now if we incorporate these two islands, then we shall find that total coastline of India including the islands is 7,517 kilometers. So the coastline of the mainland India, that is this blue line, is 6,100 kilometers, and if we incorporate both these islands, then total coastline is actually 7,517 kilometers long. Also note one thing, that the total coastline of India including both the islands is less or smaller than the land frontier of India, that is 15,200 kilometers, while the total coastline is 7,517 kilometers, which is almost the half of this. So from this we can conclude that the land frontier of India is larger than its coastline. Now we shall discuss about the longitudinal and latitudinal extent of India. Now before discussing about the extent of India, let us try to answer this. It says the land frontier of India is dash long. Is it 25,000 kilometers? Is it 6,100 kilometers? Or 7,517 kilometers? Or the last option, that is 15,200 kilometers? What do you think? Well, you can't remember. Let me help you out. We just read that the mainland coastline is 6,100 kilometers. So this digit shows the mainland coastline of India. And the coastline including all the islands is 7,517 kilometers. Now this digit, that is 15,200 kilometers, shows the length of land frontier. And the first digit, that is 25,000 kilometers, does not show the boundary of the land frontier or the coastline. So this digit is incorrect. So the correct option is 15,200 kilometers. So the land frontier of India we know is the longest one, and it is 15,200 kilometers. We shall now discuss about the longitudinal and latitudinal extent of India. An important line of latitude, that is the Tropic of Cancer, passes through the middle of the country India. Thus, from this one can infer that India enjoys tropical climate. Now, let us mark the extreme points of the country India in all the direction, that is the northernmost point, westernmost point, easternmost point, and the southernmost tip or the southernmost point. So these red dots are the extreme points of the country India in all different directions. The latitudinal value of the northernmost tip or the northernmost point is 37 degree and 6 minutes north. The longitudinal value of the westernmost tip is 68 degree and 7 minutes east. Again, the longitude lying in the extreme east is 97 degree and 25 minutes east. And the southernmost tip of the mainland India is 8 degree and 4 minutes north. So these are the latitudinal and longitudinal values, or the latitudinal or longitudinal extent of the country India. Well, the northernmost point of the mainland India is Indira Col and it is situated in the state of Kashmir. The southernmost point of the mainland India is Kanyakumari and it is situated in the state of Tamil Nadu. Well, Kanyakumari is the southernmost point of the mainland India. Now, we know that India also consists of islands, and the southernmost point of India, if we consider the island of Andaman and Nicobar as well, then the southernmost point is Indira Point and it lies in the Nicobar Island, and the latitudinal value of this point is 6 degree and 45 minutes east. So 6 degree and 45 minutes east is the southernmost tip of the entire country of India. Now, the westernmost point of India lies in the state of Gujarat and it is known as Guharmoti, whereas the easternmost point is Kibithu and it lies in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. So these are the latitudinal and longitudinal extent of India. So India extends from Indira Col in the north to Kanyakumari in the south, and this north-south or the latitudinal extent of India is 3214 kilometers. Again, the east-west or the longitudinal extent of India is 2933 kilometers and it extends from Guharmoti in Gujarat to Kibithu in Arunachal Pradesh. While the southernmost tip of the entire country of India is Indira Point and not Kanyakumari, because we know that India not only consists of the mainland but also two groups of islands. Well, just now we discussed that approximately India extends from 97 degree east longitude in the east to 68 degree east longitude in the west. Now, this longitudinal extent of India is quite large, and we also know that longitudes helps us to determine the local time of any place. To know more about local time, you can refer to the link present at the top right corner of your screen. So as I was saying, longitude helps us to determine the local time of any place. Now, if all the places in India follows the local time according to the longitude passing through it, then we shall find that the time lag between the easternmost point and the westernmost point will be of 2 hours. Now, this will create a lot of confusion for a country like India. In order to avoid this, India has selected a particular meridian and longitude that will determine the time for the entire country. And this particular meridian or longitude is 82.5 degree east, which almost passes through the middle part or the central part of the country, and it crosses the city of Allahabad in Uttar Pradesh. So, the central meridian or the standard meridian of India is 82.5 degree east, and this particular longitude determines the time for the entire country. So, the local time of 82.5 degree east is known as Indian Standard Time or IST. So now that we have got a good idea about the location and extent of India, let us now focus on its neighboring countries. Well, India altogether has 9 neighbors. To the northwest, we have the countries of Pakistan and Afghanistan. In the north lies the country of Nepal, Bhutan and China. To the east, we have Bangladesh and Myanmar. And exactly to the south of mainland India, we have two groups of islands, Sri Lanka and Maldives. Now Sri Lanka is closer to India and it is separated from the latter by a narrow stretch of water body known as Palk Strait. So what is Palk Strait? Palk Strait is a narrow channel of water body that separates India from Sri Lanka. Now, India has always maintained a cordial and strong trade relation with its neighbours since distance past, both by sea and land routes, and we have already discussed about this in our previous slide, isn't it? Now, let us compare the size of India with that of its neighbours. Well, if we select a particular country, say Bangladesh, then we shall find that India is about 22 times larger than Bangladesh. And what about Sri Lanka? Well, Sri Lanka is quite small compared to India, isn't it? Yes, in fact, Sri Lanka is 50 times smaller as compared to India. Now, if we compare the size of Pakistan with India, then we shall find that Pakistan is 4 times smaller than India. Now, let us compare the size of India with a larger nation, say China. Well, India is 3 times smaller than China. See here, we can find that China is quite larger than India and it is not so large but about 3 times larger than India. So from these figures, we can very well understand that India is quite a large country. Now let me tell you an interesting fact. Well, although Bangladesh is quite small as compared to other neighbors of India, say Pakistan, China, Myanmar, etc., but still Bangladesh shares the longest land boundary with India. Now, this might confuse you because the size of Bangladesh is quite small. But here, if you see, then you shall find that a major portion of Bangladesh is surrounded by India. But if you see here, then you shall find that a major portion of Bangladesh is surrounded by India. Whereas if we consider the case of Pakistan, China or Myanmar, then we shall find that only a part of the country shares land boundary with India and not whole of it. And therefore, Bangladesh, although it is very small, shares the longest land boundary with India. So as mentioned just now, India is quite a large country. In fact, it is the 7th largest country in the world with an approximate area of more than 3 million square kilometers. Now, given this large area of India, the population of this country is also very high. Well, this pie chart shows the world population, and here we find that the top 5 countries of the world in terms of population are China, India, USA, Indonesia and Pakistan. So, India ranks the second. So, we can also say that India is the second most populous country in the world. Now, the current world population is 8 billion, out of which 1.4 billion lives in the country of India. So, India contributes about 17.7% of the entire world population. And this figure is not so small compared to the most populous country of the world, that is China, and the percentage of China is 18.5%. So here we find that the population gap between China and India is not so large. In fact, according to United Nations, if the current population of India continues to rise at the same rate, then it would soon surpass India by the end of 2023. So this brings us to the end of today's lesson. In this lesson, we mainly tried to focus on the location, extent and neighbours of India. Speaking about location, India belongs to the largest continent of the world, that is Asia. And India is itself a large peninsula which is surrounded by water bodies on all three sides. To the west we have Arabian Sea, to the east we have Bay of Bengal, and to the south we have Indian Ocean. Then we also discuss about the extent of India. India is quite a large country. In fact, it is the 7th largest country in the world and the 2nd most populous country in terms of population. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers or to get access to our 5,000 amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million+ questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubt resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, but it's rewarding too. So register for free now.